What if I told you that almost everything you think you know about getting rich is actually keeping you broke? Welcome to today's Explainer. We're tackling something absolutely crucial today, the psychology of success and what it actually takes to build lasting wealth. To really get this, I want you to picture building wealth not as some frantic race to a finish line, but exactly like planting and nurturing a tree. So many of us, we're tempted to harvest and just eat all our seeds today, right? Just consume everything we get. But true generational financial growth, that requires us to plant those seeds, carefully water them, and be patient for that ultimate harvest. So today, we're looking closely at the daily choices that separate the people who just spend from the people who truly grow.
Okay, let's dive into this with a scenario that plays out around us literally every single day. Picture two people. They start out earning the exact same salary. They live in the exact same city, pay the exact same rent, and they've got the exact same opportunities in front of them. Yet fast forward 10 years later, and their realities are completely opposite. One of them is still living paycheck to paycheck, incredibly stressed out about the next utility bill, while the other, they're living completely financially free, waking up with total control over their time. Same start, entirely different finish.
So this forces us to ask a pretty critical question. Why do their lives look so completely different? Naturally, we assume, well, one of them must have secretly made more money, or maybe they inherited a secret fortune from some long-lost uncle, or they just got incredibly lucky on a random crypto coin. But no. The answer we find in the research isn't about a financial windfall at all. The money was identical. The difference was entirely the mindset they cultivated day in and day out. Because your income can change all at once, but if your mindset doesn't change, your life simply won't either.
And that brings us to the core mechanism of how this mindset actually plays out in the real world. Here it is. Rich habits build assets, while poor habits buy liabilities. A lot of people fall into this psychological trap of buying expensive things just to look successful to people they don't even know. Coming back to our tree metaphor, buying those depreciating liabilities is exactly like harvesting and eating your crops early. Sure, you might feel full today, you look great in that designer jacket, but you literally have nothing left for tomorrow. Investing first, on the other hand, is how you plant a strong tree. It's making sure that your money acts like an employee, working tirelessly for you instead of just being spent by you.
Let's move forward and see how this translates into actual actionable steps. Like, what exactly are these magical seeds we need to be planting? Well, wealthy individuals don't just hoard their cash under a mattress. They intentionally plant it in specific high-yield areas way before they ever try to enjoy the rewards. They plant seeds in their skills. They invest heavily in their knowledge. And hey, knowledge isn't necessarily a massive, expensive university degree. Sometimes it's literally just taking a weekend online course on coding or sales. They put resources into building businesses, and they acquire assets, like real estate or stocks. These are your four crucial seeds. When you plant these first, you're building this amazing, self-sustaining ecosystem that eventually bears fruit year after year. It lets you enjoy the rewards without ever having to chop down the tree.
Now, what's really fascinating about this mindset is how it completely warps the concept of time. Most people have a severely short-term focus, right? They're entirely consumed by today, right now, getting to this weekend. But successful people, they operate on a completely different timeline. They pull the lens way back. They're focusing on the next 5, 10, or even 20 years. Before making a major financial or life decision, they pause and ask themselves, is this actually going to help my future self? By doing this, they make sure that every smart decision today acts as a planted seed that turns into a guaranteed harvest tomorrow. It's really not about depriving yourself. It's about realizing that the future belongs to the people who actively plan for it.
Of course, planting a tree means you're going to face some weather. Life gets difficult. Average people tend to complain about the difficult storms. But successful people, they ask a very different question. They ask, how can I solve this? They know that every problem hides an opportunity, and every challenge teaches a vital lesson. And let's be honest, the weather isn't always a light drizzle. Sometimes it is an absolute economic hurricane. But wealthy mindsets use these severe storms to grow much deeper, stronger roots. They understand a fundamental truth of our modern economy. The bigger the problem you can solve, the more valuable you become to the marketplace.
Which leads us directly into the concept of continual growth. Look at this powerful idea. Knowledge compounds like money. Formal schooling might end in your 20s, but fertilizing your soil, that never, ever stops. Did you know the average Fortune 500 CEO reads roughly a book a week? Yeah, that's definitely not a coincidence. Successful people are relentlessly reading, learning new skills, listening to educational explainers just like this one, and studying other successful people.
Just like putting money in a high-yield account, the more you learn, the more you earn. It's this massive compounding cognitive effect that just accelerates over time.
So the crucial point is how we actually respond to our circumstances when things inevitably go wrong. If you want to permanently change your financial trajectory, there's a sequence you absolutely have to follow. Step 1, stop blaming. Look, I know it is incredibly easy to blame the algorithm, the crazy housing market, the traffic, your boss, or just bad luck. But you've got to move to step 2. You have to ask, what can I do differently? Because the exact moment you stop the blame game and take radical responsibility, which is step 3, is the exact moment you take back control of your financial life. You are the one tending the garden. Nobody else is coming to water your plants.
And this brilliantly illustrates the lens through which you view the entire world. On one side, we have the scarcity mindset. This is the voice that whispers, there just isn't enough success for everyone. It views life as this zero-sum game, where someone else's win has to be your loss. But on the flip side, the abundance mindset proudly declares there are endless opportunities. And here is the non-obvious secret about this. When you operate from a place of abundance, you actually celebrate other people's success. Why? Because doing so trains your own brain to believe that success is absolutely possible for you too. You aren't just being nice, you are literally reprogramming your mind. A positive, abundant mindset attracts better decisions, and better decisions create an exponentially better life.
To really cement this whole concept, I want you to imagine a specific scenario with me. Imagine 2 friends who each receive $1,000. Just a flat $1,000 handed to them on the exact same day with absolutely no strings attached. Let's look at how their mindset completely dictates where those dollars ultimately end up.
So the first friend takes that $1,000 and just blows it on expensive clothes and the absolute latest gadgets. They harvest it early so they could look good right now. Fast forward 5 years later, and what do they actually have? Well, they own some fading memories of a fun weekend and a phone that barely holds a charge anymore. But the second friend? They take that exact same $1,000, but they use it to buy business books, learn a high-income skill online, and start a small side hustle. They planted their seeds in fertile soil. 5 years later, they don't just have memories, they own their freedom. The money they started with was exactly the same. It was the mindset that made all the difference.
Which brings us to our final thought for this explainer. Your bank account is often just a lagging reflection of your daily decisions. If you desperately want different results, you have to start thinking entirely differently. So I'll leave you with this question to ponder today. Are you eating your seeds today, or are you planting them for tomorrow? Remember, success begins in the mind long before it ever appears in your wallet. Choose just one growth habit today, start planting those seeds, and you can change your entire future. Thanks for joining me on this deep dive. Now go plant those seeds.